What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Submission Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Muto. Glad you could join us. Glad to be here. Another beautiful week, another beautiful Thursday, 2 days closer to the fishing weekend. Hope everybody's good out there. And is there anything worse than having to update your stupid ass machine like right before you come on? I hopped on and I was using my little service because I'm down here in my garage and it was like needed to update something and restart. It's so annoying. But we're here. We made it. Hopefully you're all doing good. Let's see who we got in the house today. Spinning Rod Rebel Marvin. Good to see you. Glad you could join us. Leonard Oos, welcome to the show. Tim, welcome. Valley Center. Glad you could join us. You're just a little east of me. Aaron Kruger, DFA in the house. What's going on, Aaron? Good to see you in here. Danny Perez, Oos, what's going on? Glad you could join us. Captain Dan, Carlsbad, home for a week. You guys don't know Captain Dan. He's all over the place. Different states doing motocross. Glad you're home though. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully you're home for a little while. You don't have to run out right away. Cave Dog, Oos, welcome to the show. Salty Dangler, welcome back. Michael Tran, welcome. Nick Jones, Oos. N2 Sushi, Oos. El Lorenzo, Oos, welcome to the show. For those of you guys who are wondering if you're new and you're just watching, people typing Oos just means that they've liked this. Hopefully they've hit the like button on the stream. So that's what that means. It's just a greeting as well. So if anybody's wondering what that is, that's like one of the that's probably one of my most asked Instagram questions is what does Oos mean? So now I just have like the little copy and paste that I throw on there so I could send it in and that way I don't have to explain it every time. Cody King, Oos, good to see you. Yeah, sorry I missed you guys last week. So yeah, let's jump right into it. We got some announcements and stuff like that. And also, guys, if you have anything to add or you have any questions or anything in the chat, go ahead and ask in the chat. I'll try to answer them live if I can, if I get to them. Sometimes I get into a topic, I don't see it, but most of the time, I can get it. Do I have the answer to everything? No, absolutely not. But somebody in the chat probably does. But if I do, I'll definitely do the best of my ability to get you guys some information if I can. El Lorenzo is lame. I don't know, man. You guys are gonna have to roll. Sort it out. Doug Rubin, El Sueño, welcome to the show. Let me see here. Pull up my notes. So, nothing in the news-wise that I saw. Most of it was just like heat-related, heat-related fishing and stuff like that. It's interesting because like there was some issues in, I think like Montana and stuff. Like creeks were getting too hot to fish and stuff like that. And I've heard other places like some of the heat from the water. The heat's increasing and the water's getting so hot and it's been causing problems with fish dying or people just not being able to fish, not only because of the fish dying, but just heat advisories. They don't want people out there fishing. So they've been like shutting a lot of stuff down. It's kind of weird or interesting in like Southern California. It's been extremely mild here. I don't know about inland is a little hot. Like where I'm at, it hasn't, like I haven't seen the sun in like a couple. There's just been marine layer over here in Carlsbad, but like it was a little hot today, like in the 70s, but I don't think it's hit 80 degrees all year. I know last time this year in July, it was like, and it was nuts. Like it was really, really hot. I don't have AC. I've just got those portable air conditioners. And I remember my daughter was born and I had like two going in her room because she was just born in July. And then this year it's been fine. Like the door's open right now. It's not too hot. I mean, I think it's already dropped down to let's see if we can get a temperature here. Yeah, my thing's already telling me it's already down to 70 degrees. It should be down in like the low 60s. So it's just weird. It's out. The rest of the country is just getting swamped with heat. Florida, I know, is really hot. Texas has been like crazy, but still really mild here in California. But everywhere else is just they're getting hammered pretty hard. I definitely last year was definitely warmer for sure. I spelled oos wrong. Yeah, that's all right. I got the jest. I knew what you're trying to say. Oh, you don't want to roll. You don't want none of that smoke, Danny. 102 in Valley Center, 101 here yesterday. Yeah, and it's amazing how hot it gets. Like, yeah, I went inland to Vista a little bit and it got hot quick, which is surprising. Like, I'm kind of coastal, but I'm not like on the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a little bit off, but it's amazing like how much that cools down. Escondido's been in the 90s, but like you go, but like if you guys go on the water or you go offshore, like it's fairly cold, colder for it's not cold, but relatively speaking to the past couple years. They've still been waiting for this El Nino to come up that we've yet to see. Everybody keeps calling out. Yeah, so let's just go over some announcements. Yeah, like I said, not much too much news outside of that fishing related. Announcements wise, so the Spotty Bowl um award ceremony championship is this Saturday, and that's in Mission Bay. I think Crown Point is where it's at. So if you guys are going to that, I'll be there. So I'm looking forward to hanging out. Come check it out. I think even if you're not, I think a member of Spotty Bowl, you can still come out if you're part of the MMFC, or even if you're not, you're just cool. You're a fisherman. If you want to check out the scene, if you didn't register with the judge or let them know you were coming in, just bring something to eat if you do decide to stop by. But in the MMFC Discord, you can find the information there. But it's pretty cool. It's one of those rare times where we all get to hang out and see each other. You know, I know a lot of the guys from right here in the chat and other places that we see online, you know, that we don't interact with too much. We finally get to see each other in person. So this, and then, yeah, there's like the Apps and Taps is another one, but very few events where we all get together. So it should be cool to see everybody. So if you're down there, come say what's up. I know a lot of you guys will be there. Should be fun. No sun at the beach all day here in Terramar. Yeah, it's been like that for. I haven't been able to see the water from my place in a while. It's just been cloudy. It looks like it's going to clear up and then it rolls back in. I wore a sweatshirt all day in La Jolla on Monday. I'm about, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, you know what's funny is this is one of those tricky, just like a tip for you guys. This is like one of these tricky times where if you go fishing offshore, um, this is where it gets you because you think you're like, especially if you live inland a little bit, you're like, oh, it's hot, it's 90 degrees, it's 100 degrees, and you go out to the water and you don't bring a sweatshirt, you don't bring a jacket, and then you get out there and you find out it's still like 65 degrees. Well, 65 degrees when the wind is blowing, the boat's moving, you're getting spray from the water, it gets really cold really fast. And I know I've been caught up in this before. I've had the same thing happen where it was like it was warm and I got out and I packed too light. Never make that mistake again. But you always see it, and it can creep up quick, especially if you're doing the overnights, in the mornings, in the middle of the night. It gets cold when you're fishing, and even that 60-degree weather, you would think it'd be okay, but it's different out on the water. Once that moisture kicks in and you start getting some of the wind, it cools down. So it'll creep up on you a little bit. So just be aware of that. Always bring a jacket. Just something like a little packable. Those little fold up ones you can throw in a backpack. Anything to just kind of break that wind off will help. Let's see. High in the 90s is Silverwood Lake. Man, that's crazy. Leo, welcome to the show. We were talking about going to Silverwood Lake. I'd like to fish there. I know that was one prior to the shutdowns. It was one that was pretty well stocked. I don't know what conditions it's been in there, but I know there's stripers in there, which has always been cool. I grew up right there in Crestline, right above Silverwood, so I'm really familiar with that lake. Used to go there all the time, mountain biking and stuff like that. Fresh one, what's up, fellas? Fresh. Worse. Oh yeah, we got the sweatshirt one. So yeah, that's going on. Let's see. Also, the WTF League is August 19th, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. So what this is, guys, it's put on by the same person that does Spotty Bowl, Eric Lehman. Sometimes he's in the chat here. We call him the judge, and he's really the force behind Spotty Bowl. He does all the judging. He puts it together. It was his brainchild, a couple years ago. And if you guys know anything about Eric, his dude just loves to compete. Like, I don't think every time I fished with him on his boat or we've gone out, it's just like there's always a competition with this guy. Or whenever we do group things, there's always like biggest fish or most fish. He's really competitive. Maybe borderline gambler. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny that, but you can't fish with this guy without a challenge going on. So he puts on the WTF League, and what that is it's a lot more laid back. It's a lot more chilled than Spotty Bowl because it's not, even though it says it's a league, you don't have to fish every single tournament like Spotty Bowl, to be competitive. You don't have to show up all the time. You just random kind of dates. So this one's August 19th. This is the biggest trifecta. He comes up with random stuff. One time it was first to 50 fish or something like that, or when it was the most fish caught in a night. So this one is from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's the biggest trifecta. I think it's like $40. Winner takes all, and you get a belt. So TV metal artist Todd Burton Art, who's in the chat a lot. I don't see him in here today, but he makes the belts for that, and it's pretty cool because you pass the belts along. It's not like Spotty Bowl where you get to keep them. You actually, it's like the wrestling league. I think that's kind of where you got it. So the belt passes if you lose, and it's pretty cool as you go in and defend your belt. But the last people that I think Brian were the last ones that did the event before Spotty Bowl. He's had the belt for a long time, just by proxy. He won it, so he's got to hold on to it. But if you lose it, you have to relinquish that thing. So, and it's cool. You don't have to be in. If you want to defend the belt, you got to show up to the next one, but you don't have to, and it's a little more chill, a little more fun, lots of wacky challenges. But if you guys are really want to go compete in kind of a funner thing, and that's not so dedicated to like, you got to catch spotties and you got to be there on time and you got to grind. These are still competitive, but still fun. So it's a good way even to dip your toe into competitions, guys, because it's not, because there's still money on the line, there's belts on the line, and it's a lot more chill. But the different fishing challenges I think are what's really cool about it. So I'm definitely going to try to get in on some of these this year. I missed them last year, and I believe it's a partner event as well. So you do need a partner unless that's changed. But typically it's a team thing, like a tag team. So find somebody, and I think you can do them by yourself. Like it's not a partner I don't think is required, but you can have two people on your team and go after it. So just want to throw that out there if you guys are into doing some light tournament fishing put on by the judge. Check it out. And this one will be, I said August 19th, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. Biggest trifecta. So what that means is, if you guys aren't familiar with the trifecta, Southern California, it's just what we call when you catch the three bass. Our three biggest bass that are here: spotted bay bass, barred sand bass, and calico bass. So whoever catches the largest single three of those. So your biggest spotty, biggest sandy, biggest calico. So that's fun. Yes. This one's going to be from the bait barge to the jetty. So the zones are limited too. So you can only be from the bait barge in San Diego Bay to where the jetty is. That'll be interesting. I think sand bass and calico won't be a problem there, but finding what's interesting, I think the hardest quality fish to find there will probably be a spotty. You can kind of go over to the rocks on the other end, but it doesn't produce, like, I haven't seen that too many big spotties there, but sand bass should be no problem. Calicos are definitely doable there, but spotty will be interesting. I think that'll kind of be the weakest category. They're typically the smallest anyways, but I don't know if we'll see any hog spotties, but that'll be interesting. I guess it makes it fun. And then the Pickle Run was coming up, guys. So this was August 5th, but it got moved. What this is an event where we go from Mission Bay, launch our kayaks, and then we travel all the way down to San Diego Bay. I think it's like a 12-mile trip. So we go underneath. It takes like all day. It's like a 12-hour event. So don't plan anything else if you're going to go on this. But it's a lot of fun. We usually fish the La Jolla kelp, or not La Jolla, Point Loma kelp all the way down. Lots of sheephead are usually caught, lots of bass. And usually there's boats typically. I was in a boat last year. I know Captain Dan is on here. He a lot of times hooks us up, makes us lunch a lot of times. And he's kind of like the emergency boat, carries waters and stuff. That's a really fun trip. That was scheduled for August 5th, but that got rescheduled. So I know if you guys were planning on going on that, we had the date of August 5th, but that was moved. And they're thinking probably late September, early October. I know last year was October. I remember because it was the lobster opener. So I think it was October 1st. And we were dodging lobster pots like crazy. But it's still a good time. The ocean, it was a super flat day, super fun. But that got moved. So stay tuned. I know they're shooting kind of for late September. But just put that on your radar, guys. It's a fun trip. If you can do it on a boat, you can do it on a skiff. You don't have to be on a kayak. Kayak is kind of like the true experience, if you want to do it, because it's fun, but it's challenging too. Like it's not an easy thing, but it's not like you're not punishing yourself. But it's one of those experiences where once you've done it, it's cool to say you've done it, because it's by the time you're finished, you're pretty exhausted. So that's coming up. And then to piggyback on that, Submission at Sea. So Submission at Sea is the charter that I've got going on. I know a lot of you guys are joining. That was August 5th, or it still is August 5th, but it was conflicting with the Pickle Run. So um, luckily, we're not crossing the two. So if you guys want to go to Submission at Sea, there still are some tickets left. We had some held. We were holding some tickets that some people couldn't make it. So I think we got about 5 tickets left out of the 30 spots. So if you guys want to go on that, we do jigs, giveaways. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be out on the Malahini for a day. And it's a private charter. It's a boat that I've chartered. So we're not going to be out there with no randos. It's pretty much everybody we know. And yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to have Afrin's going to be on the boat from Warbaits. He'll be with us. He's sponsoring it. Simon from Time Pad Rods, he'll be with us. He's making a rod for the raffle as well. So he's going to make a custom slow pitch rod. And who else? Kevin Nakata's actually going to make it, the Sea Samurai or Fishing Reps. So he's going to be on the trip. And we didn't think he was going to make it. He was going to be in Florida, but he's coming back. He's coming back early, so he's going to hop on the boat. I'll be there, of course, if you guys want to learn jigging, slow pitch jigging. And it's kind of a freelance trip. A lot of people ask me what we're fishing for. I'm not sure. Right now, probably bluefin, yellowfin, and anything that's on patties, within a day range. Obviously, if none of those show up, we've always got rockfish we can go after. So we should be able to get on something. We went last year to the islands, Coronado Islands. It was a lot of fun. We got on like a hot yellowtail bite at the end of the day. So if you guys want to do that, if you're going to go on the Pickle Run, we don't have to worry about that conflict anymore. So, I mean, that's kind of good. So I've still got a few tickets, not many left. So if you guys want to get on them, definitely snap those up. And it's coming up, I think, next week, next Saturday. So we didn't have a lot of planning for this one. Last year I had like 3 months ahead of time. This one was like less than a month. So I know we kind of came in hot with this one, but tickets were sold out fast, and we did open some up. And then because we sold out for a minute, but then we had some open up. So now's your chance, guys. You go to submissionfishing.com, you can get your ticket on there. And yeah, it should be good. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys there. I know a lot of you guys got tickets. It's going to be a blast. Yeah, the Malahini trips. Yep, next month on the 5th. So I think next Saturday. Definitely. So get your tickets. Where do we find info on events? If you're part of, there's a Discord, Leo, that we're a part of. I don't know if you're familiar with Discord. It's just kind of like a personal server site that they use for gaming, but we use it. They use it for events and stuff like that. And it's salty is $325. So submission at sea is $325. That covers your ticket. We'll give you guys some jigs. You'll get one raffle ticket. It covers a meal. We have custom shirts made. So we've got one-off shirts that are already done. So that was the only thing. We did have a deadline on the shirts, but we had some extras made. So as long as you're a large, I think we got more larges made and maybe some extra larges. But yeah, this year they got the custom logo, the 2023 Submission Fishing. Actually, that Samurai. That's the logo on the shirts. We got like baby blue shirts this year. They look really cool. So you get the shirt, and then chance at some raffles. And we sell extra raffle tickets too if you want to win some of those Taipan rods. And then honestly, just the experience being hanging out with Afrin and Simon and Kevin, Salty. Oh, I don't know if he's going, but just giving you a hard time, Salty. But a lot of these guys on here, just great fishermen. So even if you're new, like it's a good time to go because just getting the knowledge from these guys, just talking to them, picking their brain, having people show you. Like I'll be there if you just want to learn. Like I don't even care if I'm not fishing or catching fish. If you guys, want me to teach you how to do anything, slow pitch jig. I mean, that's what I'm here for. I just want to see you guys get bit. Yeah. So Discord. So Leo, if you go to like Fishy Hour, because I don't think I have the link. It's an MMFC Discord. You don't have to be a member or anything. You just have to be a cool dude and chill, and then you're good shape. Go to Fishy Hour's YouTube channel, and I think there's a link there. So he does a live show like this one. His name's Roman Castro. Brian, sometimes he'll pop in chat. He's part of that too. They run the Discord. I'm a member of that club, and it doesn't cost anything. You don't really have to be a member. And yeah, that's where you can see all the events listed. And then there's like event chat and stuff like that. I'm going to have to get a link to that though, for sure. Can't make it looks time. Looks like Cal will win my Taipan rod. Yeah, man. Cal's going to be in the running. Like to go. Got to find the funds first. Maybe we'll like maybe we'll like raffle a ticket next week or something. I don't know if that's a guarantee. Maybe if we have an extra one, if they haven't sold out yet. We'll see what happens. Just gotta sell some of that fishing gear, dude. Gotta get revenge on that yellowtail. Salty hooked on a beast last year. I think it ran under the boat and lost it. Dude, that was a heartbreaker. Heartbreaker. Let's see. On to the next one. Oh yeah, so one of the topics like I wanted to see or wanted to talk about was fishing getting weird. One thing that was like that I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed this year, but the fishing has just been like so strange and we're catching fish um normally where there's not fish, and it's not just one instance, it's kind of a few instances. I know if you guys are on Instagram, the albacore was the biggest story of the day of the last couple of days. So if you guys don't know, the albacore tuna, they used to be a staple here in San Diego. It was before my time fishing offshore, but apparently fishing for albacore was like, it was the thing. That was the tuna. They were everywhere, is my understanding. You can go out and fish them. A lot of the guys in the chat here, they remember it pretty fondly that when you went out tuna fishing, you went out and caught albacore. Um, and for whatever reason, so when we talk about this a lot with the cyclical cycles of fishing, like when bluefin are around, that's why me and you heard Kevin from Fishing Reps talk a lot about go out and fish, because you don't know that they're always going to be here. It's not a guarantee that these fish will always stick around and always be around. It's been like that for last decade. It's been pretty solid. Last couple years has been great. Still been great bluefin fishing, but that's how it used to be for albacore fishing. Albacore used to be here all the time. They moved up north, which, so what's interesting is the albacore went up to like Northern California, so they can still catch them there, but they've never come back south into the range, at least that we can get them. And somebody caught an albacore down here in San Diego. It was the Aztec, I believe, and that's what I'm saying. Just fishing's getting weird because like the albacore. What's weird about this whole fishing thing is the albacore was mixed in with the school of tuna, so they caught bluefin, yellowfin, and then the albacore. And one thing that's happened too is even in the past couple years, the bluefin, prior to the last couple years, I should say, bluefin and the yellowfin tuna used to always run separately. Like you'd get into a bluefin school or you get into a yellowfin school, and you either fish for bluefin or you fish for yellowfin. And I remember I talked about this year, or last year, I should say, we went on a trip and it was like a day and a half. And the second day we did, actually, believe it or not, it was on the Aztec. Though coincidentally, it was on the Aztec. We were on the Aztec last year, the boat that just got the albacore. But we were fishing and we were catching just as many yellowfin as we were bluefin. So the yellowfin and the bluefin were straight up swimming in the same school together, eating the same bait. Eating, like I've never seen that before. And but suddenly this year, that's becoming a more common thing. So I don't know what's going on. They formed some sort of like unholy alliance, and now they're just like they're running together. And some people are saying they wish they'd split, which I kind of do too, because yellowfin are easier to catch, in my opinion. They're a little more fun. They're smaller. They usually eat anything. They eat jigs like crazy. They're not as picky. The bluefin could be a pain in the ass. Sometimes you see bluefin and they don't want to eat. But oddly enough, the bluefin this year too. So we saw it last year, but this year the bluefin are running with the yellowfin, and now you've got an albacore in the mix. I don't know. I think it was the only one I've seen. But why the hell would there be a single albacore running in with like this pack of tuna? Like it's just super weird. Seeing something like that is crazy. Like just one fish got lost. And that's why everybody's like, now all the speculation's on, right? Like, oh, the albacore back or the albacore back. It's just crazy, man. But it was super cool to see. They got like the super long fins. Look totally different. I have a Fathom 40 on an Access 780 XXH willing to barter for a ticket to submission at sea. It's tempting, Marvin. I'll have to check that thing out. We used to rake in the albacore. Yeah, that's what I heard, man. I never was into that. I missed that boat, but that's what I hear. Yeah, it used to be all about the albacore. Yeah, albacore and yellowtail. Yeah, even the yellowtail are a lot more thin. Um, yeah, that's what I'm getting to next, Salty, for sure. Uh, yeah, the Crips and the Bloods, dude. They got the alliance, man. They called a truce. They put their colors down and they're just running together now. It's crazy. But yeah, so Salty was also saying, and that's on my list here too. So we've seen yellowtail. So the judge, Eric Lehman, the guy that I was just talking about, he puts on Spotty Bowl in the WTF league. He caught a yellowtail in the bay. It was a little rat yellow, a little small one, but I mean, it was probably like this big enough to eat. I think he kept it, but in San Diego Bay. And I can't remember the last time somebody catching a yellowtail in San Diego Bay. Usually they're, what's interesting is the small ones. So here's what's strange again. So this goes back into the whole the fishing is getting weird. If you guys know fishing out here in Southern California, the yellowtail, if you were going to catch one in the bay, typically it would be a larger model. The larger yellowtail are the ones that stick to the kelp. They are around the islands or around the kelp. They're the ones that come closer to land. One term that people are calling them home guards and stuff like that. That's a new term that I just started hearing in the last couple of years. And I hadn't heard so much, but not a lot of people call them like the home guards. They're the big boys. I'm talking like 30, 40 pounders. They're the ones that circle the islands. They're the ones you find off La Jolla. I've even seen them caught up here in like Carlsbad, some of the kelp lines and artificial reef. But those are the ones that are near shore. The small little dinks, little short rat yellows, what we call them, those are typically on the patties. So the yellowtail grow up and they live on the patties. They eat from the kelp patties, all the bait fish on there. And so you can pull some big ones off from what I'm hearing this year, which is also strange. But typically it's the small rat yellows on the patties because that's where they live. And as they grow up, become home guards, that's when they move into the island. So that's an even rarer occurrence, not just to catch a yellowtail in San Diego Bay, which is odd in and of itself, was the fact that it was a little rat yellow, which are typically out under patties in deeper water further out. Those aren't the ones that usually come close. Not only that, yellowtails are typically school fish. So is there a school of small yellows that got lost, or is it just one? Right? Again, that's what we don't know. It's so we got one albacore found, and then we've got one yellowtail found in the bay, which they aren't. So it's like, is there a school of yellowtail swimming around in the bay? A school of little rats, or did one just get lost and Eric caught like the lone rat out there in the pack? So that was pretty awesome. I metered some at 60 feet of water in La Jolla. Yeah, they're at La Jolla for sure. They like to roam around like that 70-foot range a lot of times. Either that or they're in and out of the kelp. But yeah, they're at La Jolla for sure. Usually not the small ones though. You'll typically get the big ones. Yeah, it's my understanding. I don't know if they spawn offshore, but the small ones live offshore. So I don't know. I know I did a yellowtail special. I don't remember. I'm assuming they do, but the little ones definitely live offshore. So I'm assuming they spawn offshore as well, and they use that kelp patty as cover and for food as well. That's why you'd never see the rats inland, it's pretty interesting, huh? It's like the big ones come in. You would think the small ones kick it around the bay, but it's probably more predators. I mean, they'd be eaten by halibut, white sea bass, everything. Andre Us, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Someone released it could be. It could have been. You never know. You never know. So that was another weird occurrence, right? We got the albacore chilling with the Bloods and the Crips and the Yellowfin Bluefin Fishing Alliance, and then the yellowtail in the bay, and then also, like Salty was saying, is the black sea bass. And that's another one where black people are catching black sea bass in San Diego Bay. And I talked about this probably 3 months, 2 or 3 months ago. I ran into somebody who hooked one in San Diego Bay, landed it, brought it to the boat. It was kind of like right there in the channel. And what's interesting is I've heard multiple, at least a half dozen people at this point, that have gotten black sea bass in San Diego Bay. So that's another thing that you typically just don't hear. It's another weird fish phenomenon. Those another one that you can find them in. They're outside the kelp line. You can find them in La Jolla. But typically not in the bay, which is interesting. because I might have hooked one in at the bait barge, and I wasn't quite sure. At first, I thought it was a sea lion, but um, Kevin thinks that it was a white sea bass. I threw down a jig, and we were at the bait barge, and it just like my line just took off. Zzz, like the line got spooled, the drag wasn't doing anything, and I was like, and then it snapped off, and I was like, oh, it's probably a sea lion, even though I've never had a sea lion hit a jig. Maybe I like hooked its back or something. But then Kevin was saying it was probably because he asked, he said, "Did you see the sea lion?" I said, "No, like I didn't see it come up." There was sea lions all around the area, but I didn't see one like in the vicinity, kind of where I was. And he was like, he thinks it was a white sea bass. I was just fishing the bait bars before we went out um, for a deeper charter, and he was like, "Dude, it was or not a white sea bass, black sea bass." So it was probably a black sea bass. Maybe it would have, but yeah, that's multiple times I've been hearing them. And then somebody else just posted a picture right next to the I think it was the same post that Eric caught the little yellowtail. They also saw somebody else pull up a black sea bass. So just more weirdness, man. It's been a really, really weird fishing year. Um, Fish are getting weird, which is fun. That's what makes fishing cool. You know, is you can never pin it down. You know, this time last year um, we had Dorado jumping out of the water, boiling outside of Oceanside. We had bluefin already in June. We're splashing outside of Oceanside. They're just now starting to get up here, passing through. They're still way west, but yeah, I know nobody's really seen dodos yet. I've heard some rumors that some of them are out there. Patty fishing's still good. Yellowtails are still, I think, producing on the patty, which is pretty cool because I feel like those weren't as prevalent last year, but now people are finding patties, and I've been seeing a lot of good yellowtail. Bluefin they've stuck around. They've been here just south of New Mexico, right there, and even coming north and then west, you know, on the backside of like San Clemente and even nearby Catalina, they've been finding them. That's pretty cool. Bluefin's still here. It's like I don't think they ever left. They just kick it here now almost year round. But that doesn't mean you don't go fish for them. So yeah, if you guys have any other weird fishing, weird fishing experiences this year, I'm curious to see it. And I was talking to Lane too. If you guys don't know Lane Killian, check him out on Instagram. He's got a great fisherman. He reps my product a lot. He works for Fishing Reps, but I think he was kind of saying that he thinks it was just like the fresh water. You know, everybody's got theories, but we had so much rain um, last year and last winter. It was like I remember I touched on that a little bit. I'd never had to check the weather, but before I went fishing here in Southern California, and it was like it rained so much. So he kind of thinks it was fresh water, just kind of so much fresh water got pushed in. Maybe it changed the salinity of the water, and who knows? It's one of those things where, you know, we can theorize all day, but definitely a kind of a funky year for sure. I caught quite a few sheephead in the bay as well. Yeah, the sheephead they actually do kind of kick it in the I don't know, is that like spot burning if like right there in kind of the channel, um especially in Zuniga, like there are sheephead there for sure. I think they've been there for a little while, but bigger ones too. Yeah, but that is interesting because a lot of people I don't think to fish there. Yeah, the sheephead are in the bay. I haven't seen them deeper unless you've seen them like deeper in the bay, Yochinator. Unless you're seeing them like right there in the mouth. I think they've been there for a while, but unless you're seeing them in like Pepper Park in the back bay, that might be kind of interesting. Mary Haas Oos from the Taipan crew. Simon, well, he gave you the day off. Tell Simon he better be working hard, making us some rods for next weekend. Thank you for joining us. You're always welcome here. Yeah, so if you guys have any other weird fishing, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, those are just a couple instances I want to bring up. And then just checking my questions here. Hopefully your submission at sea, we get some of that weirdness. That'd be pretty cool for sure. Middle of the channel, yeah. That's about right. That's still cool though. They're still fun to get. I heard about that. Yeah, that was crazy. That was a couple years ago. Actually, by now it was probably like 6, 7 years ago, but it seemed like it was yesterday. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, dude. Big Hallies too. That's true. Everything. I don't know, man. It's like the secret of the ooze. It's like the Ninja Turtle ooze. What was that? TGRI. Drop the canister in the bays, dude. All the spotties have been monsters. Halibuts I've seen being huge. Great year for fishing, man. I've been catching like monster rockfish. It's crazy, man. It's been good. It's been a good fishing year. Different for sure, but still pretty good. Lots of bait in the water. Yeah. Yeah, definitely interesting. And then the water it's finally starting to heat up, but it was like that was another thing. That freaking water was like so cold for so long. But it's finally starting to turn up, starting to see some finally some 70 spots and stuff like that, which is thank goodness. So hopefully next Saturday, submission at sea. We'll get some we'll get on them. Mark Yamamoto, welcome to the show. I recently went on the Freedom 1.5 day and caught 7 yellowtail. Dang, dude, hell yeah. Were they all off of patties or did you guys hit the islands? That's awesome, man. That's no joke. Those yellowtail can fight too. 30-pounders. Yellowtail's like that's just some of the best eating, man. Some of the best sushi, even cooked yellowtails. It's legit. Congratulations, man. That's so awesome. Love seeing that stoke, man. 7 yellowtail. That's a great. I've never caught 7 yellowtail. That's for sure. What are you doing down there? My child's looking at me through the doggy door in the garage. Creepy. What are you doing? You going to bed? Going to bed, Bubba's. Who's on stream? Gonna go to bed. What is that? Daddy stream? I'm gonna bait you up and put you on a tuna hook. Oh, don't touch that. Say good night.
Wait, bye-bye.
Good night. She had to come in. Had to come say hi. All from the Cortez Bank. Yeah, that was interesting. I've heard about people on like Cortez and Tanner. Were you guys looking for tuna and just find up on the yellowtail? And they weren't on patties? That's crazy. That's awesome. What's a good temp for offshore fishing? The it depends what you're looking for. Bluefin don't mind the colder water. So bluefin will if it's like they've been here since the water's been like 60. So the bluefin are good from like that 62 range to 67. When it starts getting a little warm, the bluefin, honestly, they're cool with it, but they don't like it as much. So once you start hitting where we're at now, like in the 70s, that's when the yellowfin. So then the yellowfin will come in like the transitional period. They'll come in like the high 60s, 68, 67, 69. The yellowfin start coming in, and then when we start hitting the 70s, that's usually when the Dorado start coming up. So once we start getting this warmer weather, the Dorado push up, and then the yellowfin. So the yellowfin will stay with the Dorado. Typically, the bluefin will push out when the water gets a little warmer, and then the yellowfin and the Dorado come in. But we're talking strange fishing. The bluefin stuck around pretty much all last year. Like I said, they had the alliance with the yellowfin, but the Dorado will come in when it's hotter, and then behind them you get like skipjack tuna, bonito. So a little more of the exotic fish will come in when it's warmer, but that ideal temp is between it's like high 60s, low 70s is kind of the match. Low 70s is like as hot as it gets out here, but that's when you're starting to get a little more exotics. As far as the bays go, warm water is typically always good. Fish are cold blooded, so the bluefin are warm blooded. So I've heard conflicting on that. I didn't think they were. Then somebody said they were, but whether they are or not, the bluefin can regulate their body temperature. So that's why they could fight the colder water better. But most other fish, especially like the bait, they're all cold blooded, so they need the warm water to be active. So once the water starts heating up, by proxy of that, they just become more active because their blood is thinner. They're able to move. They get their energy source, a lot like reptiles. So warmer is typically better. So that 70s is good if you're looking for like dodos and yellowtail and stuff like that. They love crushing that warm water. So hopefully that answered your question. I don't know if there's an ideal one. Usually, what you want to do is look for the warmer spots. Like if you go to a like an SST and you're looking at the water temperature charts, um, you look for the patches where it's like darker red, and those are usually the zones that the fish are like slipping through. But usually here in Southern California, the hotter the better if you can find it. I got up a few hours ago, but Simon lives at the shop. Oh yeah, dude, that guy's like he's the hardest working man in the rod business for sure. Tell him he could have a day off. Tell him Muto from Submission Fishing to take the day off. Yeah, summer 2008. I'm on cover of the log fish wrap for catching bluefin, yellowfin, albacore, dorado, and yellowtail. That's the start of the bluefin tuna arrival and departure of the albi. So 2008 was kind of the transition. Interesting. Yeah, once the bluefin came in, the albacore were gone. They were like, peace. It was funny because everybody was all excited about the bluefin. Now everybody's like, oh, I wish the albacore would come back. It's like, come on, guys. One or the other. Bluefin are fun, but it's bluefin or bust a lot of times. You either see limits or you see like zeros. That's just how they are. They're kind of like yellowfin. Yellowfin are just like usually if you could find them, they're gonna eat. Not always, but they're pretty stupid. Yellowfin are like definitely a couple IQ points lower than the bluefin for sure. And then the Dorados, they're like, yeah, Dorado would even further down on the IQ chart. They'll eat anything. I caught them all from gear from Big Five Sporting Goods, and it was a total of $100, dude. That's so good. Yeah, you don't need expensive gear, man. I've got a um, Shakespeare ugly stick here with like the Penn Battle 3 spinning reel, and that thing gets out. I've caught so many fish on that thing. Tuna too. I've caught like uh, big bonito, small tuna. It works. You don't really need the expensive stuff. We get into it, because it's just what I do, and I like having the nice gear. But and I see pictures with like my $35 Walmart setups all the time, fishing the bays. It's fine, man. It's fine. I think the biggest thing is usually like durability and stuff. Like if you're fishing all the time, that's typically when you want to upgrade your gear just to like last. Because some of that cheaper stuff, it's like it works, but if, like you forget about it and you don't wash it and it sits in your garage, you're gonna go take it out. It's like I've got some like that where there's like no revert, like the reverse gear, like it'll go forward, but it also goes in reverse. There's no knob for it, so it's like something there's broke or like the drag doesn't work. So that's really the only difference. Such a great day too. Bluefin, they didn't bite. A lot was boiling everywhere. Yeah, man, that's bluefin. I mean, yeah, everywhere, like everywhere. We caught 67 yellowtails in 3 hours and started going after bluefin. Yep, bluefin be like that, man. That's awesome though. Yeah, tempbreak.com, great site. Chet Prack, Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Jeremy, Oos, welcome to the show. Good to see you here. My son caught a 35-pound bluefin tuna Sunday with an 8,000 Battle 3 combo on the dial. Yeah, man. I got an 8,000. I think I got a 6,000 Battle 3. That thing, like, it rocks, dude. It gets after it. Corey King. Ooh, sorry I'm late. It's all right, dude. Just don't be late again, and we'll let it slide. Glad you could be here. Let's see. What was I going to get to? Oh, yeah, Instagram questions. Let's see. I just had them queued up, too, and I moved them. El Sueño, Doug Rubin said, Mexican fishing paperwork to the islands for the Coronado Islands. Come on, Doug. I know you've been to the islands, right? But yeah, the Coronado Islands, they're a pain in the ass, man. You need so much paperwork. If you're going there on a private, the big boats are, they usually got it covered. You typically just need your passport. And then they typically handle the rest. It's rolled into the cost. Once you start getting into private boats, and even though the big boats pay for this too, but they've already got it in the system and it's not a big deal, but you usually need a passport. So if you're within 12 miles of shore, of the Mexican waters, you need a passport. If you're outside of 12 miles, you don't need a passport. You still need a Mexican fishing license. So when you go to the islands, you need a Mexican fishing license, you need a passport, you need a visa. I think it's a FFA or AV. I forget the name. It's you need a visa to go in, like a temporary visa. You need a biosphere bracelet, and then if you're going in by boat, you need to have your like a trailer number. Even though you're not launching your boat in Mexico, you've got to have like a trailer number um, with your boat and registration and everything to fish that area. So you need a lot of stuff. Now, my boat's registered in Mexico, so I've got all that stuff covered. I've got my passport. I've got my Mexican fishing license. The biosphere bracelets you get, those are pretty easy. You can get those at Squid Coast and stuff. The hardest thing to get right now is the visa, the temporary visa. You can get them online. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, the FMM, that's what it's called. Um, and a lot of those things are only like single use. You can get bracelets for extended time, but like the FFM is really like a single use thing. So every time you go to the islands, you've got to have all these things. Now the passport, the fishing like I've got my Mexican fishing license. I've got a year on that because I go into Mexico a lot. Passport's no big deal. My boat, so your registration thing too. That's like 15 years long. So I've got that done. But you need the the FFM and you need the biosphere bracelet kind of every time you go to fish the island. So it's a lot of work. That's why you don't see too many private boats out there. Um, and a lot are pretty easy to get, but the temporary sport visa I think has been the hardest thing. I've looked into it and it's like it's a pain in the ass to get it online. You got to you download this Excel spreadsheet and you got to put this information in. Then you pay for it. Then you have to email it to some other dude on the Mexican government site after you've filled out this Excel sheet, paid for it. Then you send it to him and then you get your temporary visa. It's I don't know. It's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass. But once you can get it, it is pretty cool. But that's only for one trip, right? But I figure once you kind of figure it out or you get it down, it's just like anything. You can once you've done it once, you can do it again. But the sport boats, that's why it's nice to go on there because even though they're supplying all those things, biosphere bracelets and everything, they're already on the boat. You usually pay for it in the cost when you're going. So, and they've got all the other stuff worked out. So that is definitely a benefit to the sport boats down there. That's trying to get a private boat, unless you really know the system. But I see you down there, Doug, right? I mean, you've probably got all that. Unless you're just going pirate style. Pirates of the San Diego. Simon. Ooh, what's going on, Simon? What's going on here? Not much, man. Just talk about that sweet rod you're making us for submission at sea. Can't wait to see it, man. We're telling you to take a break. We were just talking about you're the hardest working man in rod building these days. Simon from Taipan Rod. If you guys don't know, check him out. He's got a lot of rods in tackle stores all over the place. You can go to Fishing Rep's website, put in Taipan rods, and he can tell you what stores they're at. You can also get them online. He makes them here in America, rolls them at his factory in Yuma, Arizona, does the blanks, gets the raw carbon fiber, and he'll build you whatever you need, man. And he's making one for submission at sea for the raffle. So if you want to win custom Taipan rod, you got a chance. How long to get it approved? Do you get to choose the date? Yeah, so you choose the dates you want to go so you can get it ahead of time. I feel like the approval is not that long. It's just your dates. Like they email you. It's my understanding is they can do it all online. And there used to be sites. So give you guys another tip. I'm part of the Discover Baja Club, and that's and El Sueño, Doug Rubin, he told me about that once I got my boat, is that they expedite a lot of that stuff. So I just give them my info. It's a yearly membership, but then I just give them my info and they get my Mexican fishing license for me. They did my trailer registration for me. But they don't do the FFM anymore. And I think they used to. So I was looking forward to going to the islands. And it's I tried to figure it out. I'm I was busy. I'm you need a PhD to figure this thing out. So I'm really gonna have to sit down or find somebody that's done it to help me fill one out. But it's my understanding they'll email it to you and you can get it. But to answer your question, yes, you can specify the date. You don't have to go like the day of. You can be like, I'm gonna go in 2 weeks. You put that date in the visa and then you get it. The Biosphere bracelets you can get at Squidco. So and now those I believe you can date as well too. I think those have to be used within like 30 days. Um, and then if like you're ever stopped by the Mexican Navy, then they come and like stamp your thing, so then they know it's used or something like that. It's pretty interesting. Can't wait. Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. 1 week, dude. It's almost time. It's gonna be awesome, man. Looking forward to fishing with you again. Love these shows. Thanks, man. What quick question? What academy do you train at? Alliance in Carlsbad. Alliance Jiu Jitsu. We have there's one in San Diego, right there off Miramar. That's like we call it like the mothership. It's like the homeland. Um, Johnny Faria, and then Carlsbad is where I train. I teach there too. Um, do Wednesdays, and then I taught Monday too, actually. But Wednesdays are like one of my days in the morning. I've been teaching Nogi, and then I'm kind of like the fill-in coach as well. When somebody can't make it in the mornings, I train in the mornings. But yeah, if you ever want to train or show up, just let me know. We do like drop-ins and stuff like that. It's probably a few bucks. Alliance BJJ. Denny Perez and I recently hit the Coronado Islands and caught some quality fish with the Assassins and Ogres. Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, they slay out there, dude. I caught a last year submission at sea. We went to the islands and I caught a pretty fat yellowtail. I mean, I probably caught it's probably a 25 or 30 pounder. That's the one that's in my picture on the thumbnail, and I caught that on the javelin. I think it was the 220 gram. Uh, Bill, Captain Bill said they were down and deep. I just jigged it, and yeah, man, got one of the few on the slow pitch out there, and Jeffrey caught one too on the 60 gram at the bottom as well. So he caught one on the 60 gram assassin. So we got two quality yellows, slow pitch jigging, and then the rest we caught usually casting and retrieving. Yeah, the Coronados are fun, dude. There's big. They're not kind of what they used to. They're hit or miss too. Like when the yellowtail come in, it's great, but there's always like sculpin, rockfish. The yellowtail are there when they're there. The yellowtail are great, but that trip I went on the Aztec last year, we kind of drifted through there. That was late, like late September, and yeah, we were pulling up. That's when the bluefin and the yellowfin were mixed together, and they stuck with our boat for like an hour. We drifted like 4 miles, almost all the way to the island, and they stuck with the boat the whole way. So it can definitely be really good. The rockfish video was badass. Those are some quality fish. Thanks, man. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We definitely found a competition zone. It was crazy because before that too, we won or we did it like an individuals competition. Those three were on my boat again. Um, and we did, so this one was the Southwest Anglers Tournament, which was pretty big. I think it was like 100 anglers, pretty close. It was 26 boats. There was some big names fishing though too. And then there's like a big dinner at the end at the yacht club. Um, it was a pretty big deal. Yeah, we got second place. Our boat got second place. But prior to that, we got first, second, and fourth in another tournament before that. It was a smaller one. I think that was San Diego Fishing Club or something. It was a different one, a little smaller, but yeah, we smashed in that tournament too, and that one was before. So we've taken some first places, but that one was definitely the biggest. And still, I was pretty happy with that second place finish. All on jigs too. What's crazy is those are open bait tournaments too. Like you can use live bait, you can use cut bait, you can use it's not like an artificials only thing. And I think honestly, we were probably like the only boat using jigs. I think everybody was using cut bait. So to get second place out of a lot of those boats, all on slow pitch jigs, I mean, I was pretty proud of that for sure. It was good stuff. Am I involved with the Mad Anglers? No, I think I've seen them on like Instagram, but we're pretty much cool with everybody though. But I'm not. I don't have like any affiliation or anything with those guys. Noob here. Can you slow pitch in shallow water? Yeah, heck yeah, man. That was where we kind of all got it started was fishing the, like, here's a big one. Here's a 40 gram, but we make 10-gram jigs. We make 80-gram stuff, but we make them all the way to 10-gram, a little tiny 10, 15, 20s, 40, 60s. But yeah, we use them for spotties. Halibut eat them, sand bass. People get them in the surf to get like spot fin croakers, anything like the slow pitch, man. So yeah, don't be afraid to throw them in shallow water. We use them all the freaking time. Even the patties, when I'm fishing patties, the fish are generally on the top, and like a 60 gram, they'll just come up and smoke it when it's going down. Same thing with the 80. I was catching some sand bass on the 80 gram. Yeah. So any depth will work. If you check out my YouTube, I've got videos too. We're fishing the bays. I've pretty much fished everywhere. La Jolla with them. We've gotten them. People are fishing on freshwater, smoking trout, crazy bass, white bass, greenbacks. It's crazy, man. Yeah, you pitch it 8 feet, 100%, dude. It works. Thanks, man. Yeah, that was actually a lot. That was a while ago. I think that was a few months, but it took me forever to post that video. Yeah, largemouth bass eat them. Everything eats them, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, I got like tutorials and stuff too. So if you ever like curious how to fish them, you can definitely check them out. And then what else do we have? Mel 31 315 Desert wanted to know rockfish spots. Thanks in advance. Yeah, man, you could find like I'll show you. I can show you some rockfish spots. I won't show you my tournament spots, but if you really want to find some rockfish, I'll straight up show you some zones right here. It's like the Navionics thing. But if you were just gonna go to the 9. Like if you want some of the bigger ones, like there's fish here, right here on the ridge. If you don't want to go into Mexico, if you don't have like a Mexican fishing license, I mean, what are we talking here? We're like, I don't know, 13 miles from the point or something like that. That's not bad. What you want to do is just look for, I can give you like some generalizations. Look wherever you like see these ridges, see where it's like 3,000 feet and then it moves up to like 1,200 feet. And then right here is like kind of that money zone, that 504, 400. But you want to be right on the ridges right here. And there's some decent fish here. They're not giants. Like I caught, but they're bigger than like what most of the sport boats catch. They usually get like those little dinkers. The last time I was out here, I was seeing the dolphin and some of the half day boats, which is pretty cool. They're fishing deep, which really surprised me. I mean, I don't know the chaos of dropping 30 lines down that deep, but still you can get like some 3-4 pound fish here. And this one doesn't have the relief shading because it's just the website, but what you want to be is right here, kind of on this ridge, right where it transitions. Like, see how it jumps up quick? It goes from 1,800 to 600 or 1,200 right here. So that within this short distance is a 600-foot drop. But right here on this ledge, if you can find a little rock pile, but just on this corner right here, I know I fished it, just checking it out, looking for spots, and there was some decent sized fish there. Another place you can go, which is pretty popular, is it's the International Reef. Look at, so this one has like community updates. People have been marking spots here. So this one is right on the Mexican border. So this is the Mexico border right here. And right here is called the International Reef. And this is known for rockfish as well. A lot of people fish this though. The sport boats do too here. There's a wreck right here. So that's where you're seeing people put all these marks. They're the community updates of what they call them. So there's actually a wreck here just off of the International Reef. So you'll see a lot of, and that one's good. They're not huge, but usually pretty reliable if you want some okay sized rockfish. And that's like, I think that's fairly close too. Yeah, I mean 8 miles from the point. That's no problem. But yeah, International Reef, that's kind of a good starter area. You can just drift there. Me and Fish Perfect went out there. Dave invited me on one of his took me out on his boat. We went out there and fished the artificial reef. We did pretty good actually. We slow pitched everything. Like I said, it's not that deep, 130 feet, 150 feet. And you'll be able to see the structure. I haven't fished this wreck over here, but I know, you can see it here. That's what this little mark is. So there's a wreck here that I haven't fished, but apparently that's pretty good. But International Reef is good. But then right here, lower 9, you do have to have, you're in the Mexican territory. So if you don't want to do that, just go right here on this outside edge. And you see this inside doesn't work because it's all flat. It's like, it doesn't have that same incline. It's 150. It goes down a little bit, but right here where it falls off. So make sure you're on this west side. This is the 9 Mile bank. So this is right in the middle of the 9. Is some good zones. So check it out. It's not really a secret. A lot of the sport boats go out there now and stuff like that. But if you want to get on some rockfish, do it. Yeah, dude, 100%. I got spot lock on my boat like a month ago or so, and it's a game changer. And I didn't have it when we did those tournaments. I had no spot lock, so we were drifting, and a lot of times we were keeping the. You didn't see this in the video, but like sometimes one of us would kind of helm the thing or stand by the control. So we'd be fishing, we'd put it in reverse as we're dropping because we were like 700 feet down. Kevin a lot, he'd put the boat in reverse, so our line would go back vertical again, then we drift, then you put it in reverse. So we were like moving my boat into position to stay as straight as we could. But I got spot lock now, and it's like, it's game over, dude. That thing just, it's crazy how straight it stays, even at like 500-600 feet. It's nuts. Yeah, we're at the 9. Hopefully you got some of that info. Like I said, just check those ridges. If you've got the relief shading anywhere where that drop is, go to the west side. You're probably going to be fishing deep, 600 feet or so, but there are some spots that are like 400. If you got your Mexican fishing license, you can go into that south zone a little bit. But I haven't had as much. I've had better luck in the middle 9 than I have in the south 9 for rockfish. But I've gotten some decent ones there. Maybe the monsters are there. The 2 times I've been there, they weren't. I took actually Salty there. Salty and Brian, we hit to that spot, and it was a really slow day of fishing. But me and Salty we pulled up some. They were pretty decent sized fish. But the time I went before I took him, it was an every drop type of thing. Every time I dropped my jig, I throw an ogre down, 500 grams, 600 gram ogre. Every drop, it was like instant bite. Sometimes some double fish too. So it should produce for you for sure. Did you check the latest TV show, Kids on Rockfish on the 9? Oh, you guys went to the 9 too? Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's cool because we used to not be able to fish that, which is super cool. Up until this year, we were really restricted. We had to stay within a certain zone for the rockfish. They were like typically shallow. But now it's like, it's the Wild West, man. It's so awesome getting to fish wherever we want. Might take them to Otay Lakes. Yeah, man, those guys get bit. I haven't used them for freshwater, but you check out my Instagram, you can see the pictures. I mean, I've seen the trout, I've seen the white bass, I've seen largemouth bass. I mean, everybody's gotten pictures where they're eating them. So, Spotty at best. Ooh, welcome. Glad you could join us here at the tail end. Are you still in it? Or did you get eliminated? I didn't check the show. TB Metal Art. Welcome to the show. I was just telling him, man, you made some belts for, this is the guy that makes the belts for the WTF League and Spotty Bowl, all that good stuff. So if you guys want to check out some of his art, he does like glass work, mirrors. He made the jig right here, the life-size slow pitch jig. That was all Todd, so appreciate that. Thank you, Todd. I lost my 400 ogre at the 9 Mile. No, dude, it happens, but that sucks. Usually I can get him out. Like I'll take my time to get those things out, but that's brutal, dude. I feel your pain. It doesn't happen a lot, but it definitely does happen. Oh, really? Nice, dude. Hell yeah. That's freaking awesome. Congratulations, dude. Well, you were in like the pro division last year. Now you're stepping up to the big game. That'd be awesome. You'd be like if you win this time, you'd be like those fighters that go up a weight class, right? You win it at middleweight and then go up and win light heavyweight and then go up to heavyweight, win 2 belts. That'd be a first. That'd be pretty cool. Definitely be good stuff. So, yeah, anyways, guys, I don't have too much more. If you guys, like I said, I got just a few tickets left. Like I said, probably 5 tickets left to Submission at Sea. So if you want to fish with me, and Simon here in Taipan and I said Afrin Warbaits will be there. Fishing reps. Kevin Nakata will be on the trip. A lot of these guys will be on the trip too. So if you want to fish with us, have a good time, get some jigs, you get a shirt, get some meals, get some raffles. It's kind of like a whole experience, that's the plan. Get your tickets at submissionfishing.com. We also sell jigs. And our jigs are in a bunch of tackle stores. So we're in like 20 tackle stores here in Southern California. Most places should have us. San Diego, Dana Landing's kind of the place to go. But yeah, I appreciate all the support, guys. Yeah, I don't have my hopes up. You can do it, bro. Anybody can have a bad day. Even Brian, right? I've seen some of his numbers, but where is it? Mission Bay is the final. Yeah, that's it's good. Brian's tough to beat at Mission Bay for sure. I was gonna say San Diego Bay, you might have a chance. LA, you probably have a chance, but Mission Bay final, that's hard to beat, man. That's his home court. That's going into enemy territory, but you never know. Anybody could have that off day. Yeah, we want to see him go down. Unless he's using, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. Brian uses submission jigs, so I kind of want him to win because he's fishing my stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like an unofficial sponsorship. Yeah, Utah's got him. That's right. Fish Tech. Yeah, man, it's been great. See? Yeah, but you're a Mission Bay guy too, right? Like, I think you can get him. I know your Mission Bay game is pretty strong too. Anything could happen, man. Anything could happen. Nothing is a guarantee in fishing. We all know that. Just stick to your game. I think that's the biggest thing. Just don't change anything. Don't get in your head. Just do what's been working. Don't try to change it up. Just do what you've been doing. You should be good. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. If you have any other questions or anything, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Submission Fishing. Hit me up on YouTube. I do have a new YouTube video out if you guys want to see it. We were talking about earlier the Rockfish tournament we did. So if you guys want to see some of that action, and yeah, hopefully I see some of you guys next Saturday. Submission at sea. If not, I'll see you guys Thursday on the show. Thanks for joining. Sorry I missed last week. And yeah, go out there and get bit, guys. Get those black belts in fishing. Until next time. Oos.